Hello friends, my name is Jess. Welcome to Books Past Bedtime. I have a little bit of a different setup today. I'm actually in front of my bookshelves for once. I don't usually film in front of my bookshelves because they're a disaster because I own too many books and not enough bookshelves. So, yeah. I also don't usually film in front of these because, like, the lighting is weird. I like to sit in front of a window, you know? But I just got back from the hairdresser and really wanted to make full use of my hair being done. Figured I would film a video. Sorry if the lighting is janky, but it's night, so... You get what you get. Anyway, today I have a very exciting announcement. Today we are announcing the Hannah Montana Readathon. So this is a super fun readathon that me, Mer, Haley, and Kirsten are all hosting. When we came up with this idea in the group chat, I was like, oh my god, we have to do that. That is amazing. I was the biggest Hannah Montana fan as a kid. I dressed up as Hannah Montana one year for Halloween. I don't know if I have any pictures of that, but this is like the outfit I had. I had the fringe boots and everything. I looked so good, and I saw Hannah in concert in the 5th grade. Here's pictures of me there. I know that we have those, so I was obsessed with Hannah Montana, needless to say, and so I am extra excited to host this readathon. It is going to be such a fun time. So this is going to be a week-long readathon. It is going to run from November 1st to November 7th, and it is going to be a bingo board-based readathon. So we have 9 different prompts. You can mix and match, you can overlap prompts, or you can just go for like a classic straight line bingo, diagonal, corners. You can do whatever you want. As we all know, I am an overachiever, so I'm going to try and black out the board, which you also are more than welcome to do. So whatever floats your boat is okay with us. There's no stringent rules going on with this readathon. It's just for fun. So before I get into the prompts in detail, I just want to let you know that it is very easy to participate in this readathon. If you want to join the Discord, that is a great way that you can chat with us throughout the week. Also, we are using hashtag Hannah Readathon on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you use that hashtag whenever you make a post. Also, tag us in anything you post. DM us your videos. I would love to see your TBRs and your vlogs and whatever you create for this readathon. Definitely get creative. It's going to be a lot of fun and I want to see it all, so make sure to tag me. And so for this readathon, we do have 9 prompts that will fill out the bingo board, and these prompts are based on some of the most iconic Hannah songs. So let's just get into the prompts in my TBR, as well as a couple recommendations for each prompt. So the first prompt on the bingo board is The Climb, or read a book that has recently climbed up your TBR, a book that has recently been hyped, anything like that. For this prompt, I will be reading Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I have heard so many good things about this. I have not seen any review that is not 5 stars from people I trust and people who have similar tastes to me, so I really think I'm going to like this one. It has climbed all the way to the top of my TBR, and I just cannot wait to read this one. So I believe this really analyzes like the way that people can be both good and evil. It involves a hostage situation, and like this bank robber is keeping all these people hostage, and I think it's just about humanity and hope and how people can toe the line between good and evil. And this book just sounds heartrending and beautiful, and I just cannot wait to read it. It is definitely the top of my TBR. Some other books I considered for this prompt are One by One by Ruth Ware. This is an isolation style thriller, and I've been hearing a lot of mixed reviews, so I really just want to see where I fall. I'm very interested in picking this one up. Also, American Royals by Katherine McGee. My friends Mary and Kirsten really want me to pick this one up, so it definitely has inched its way up my TBR. And also Get a Life Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. So many people talk about this one, so many people love this one. It is definitely one that has climbed up my TBR recently. The next song is If We Were a Movie, and the prompt is to read a book that you think would make a great movie or one that has already been adapted to a movie. For this one, I am going to be reading One by One by Ruth Ware. I feel like the synopses of most thrillers sound like they would make a good movie, but this one in particular sounds like it would be really cool. It's set in the French Alps at this ski resort, and it's like a company retreat, but they get cut off from civilization by an avalanche, and so they are isolated, and people start disappearing one by one. So this one definitely sounds like it would make a great movie. Seems like it could be a very cinematic experience, and hopefully the book is as enjoyable. Like I said, I've heard some mixed reviews, but from people I trust, they have been rating it highly, so I'm hoping that I'm going to like this one. In terms of other recommendations, these 3 books are books that I've already read that I think would make great movies even after reading them, and so that is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This is a haunted house mystery thriller, and it definitely has some really cool visuals that I think could translate well to the big screen. Also, The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I'm pretty sure this has been optioned to be a TV show or a movie or something, but I really think that it would make a great one. I can really see this being performed by like a star-studded cast with a really emotional script, and I think it would just translate really well to a film. Also, No Exit by Taylor Adams. This is another isolation style thriller. Our main character Darcy has to help save a kidnapped child before time runs out. I can just imagine this being a great action thriller movie, and I really enjoyed this book, so this would be a good one to read for this prompt as well. Next song song is True Friend, read a book featuring strong friendships. For this one, I'm going to be reading Girl Serpent Thorne by Melissa Bashfordhoust. I am not positive if this has strong friendships in it or not, but it's a fantasy, so I kind of figured that it will. Most of them do, you know? So hopefully it will. If not, maybe Anxious People Are One by One will manage to work for this prompt, but this is what's in the place right now. This is a YA fantasy about this princess who was born with the inability to be touched, like anyone who touches her gets poisoned. This was marketed as a female-female romance, and while I know that it does have a female-female romance in it, I don't think that's the foreground of this book now that I've read some reviews, but I'm also in it for that, so hopefully it will be satisfying to me. Some other good books to read for this prompt would be Loveless by Alice Oseman. This is a book about an asexual main character, and she has a really great group of friends around her, so this would be a great one to read for this prompt. Also, Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I know everyone has heard of this one, but I really think that the friendships in this book are underrated and really deserve more hype, so I would definitely recommend this book for this prompt. And one you might not have heard of is Girls Like Us by Randy Pink. This was one of the best books I read last year. I cannot recommend it enough. It is about 4 teen girls who are all affected by teenage pregnancy, and they really come together and support each other. This is a really great book. It is beautifully written, beautifully done, love it, would very much recommend. Next prompt is Rockstar. Read a book that you think is going to be a 5 stars or a rock star. For this one, I'm also going to be counting Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. So many of my friends and people I trust have rated this really highly, so I really think I'm going to love it and give it 5 stars. If a 5-star prediction isn't immediately coming to your mind, I have a couple that I can recommend for you that I have rated really highly and that a lot of other people have rated really highly. So if you don't have something in mind, one of these might work for you. First is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. So many people love this. This is an enemies to lovers office place romance, and it is so good, and I think you would rate it 5 stars as well. If you're looking for something really fast-paced and exciting and a little different, I would definitely recommend Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This book is amazing. It is so good. It'll keep you on the edge of your seat the entire time, and I really think it's perfect for a readathon as it's pretty short, pretty quick, and you can get through it really fast. And then I would also recommend Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, which is a graphic novel, so also perfect for a readathon. This is a very widely beloved male-male romance graphic novel series, and I really think you would love this one as well. Next song is Nobody's Perfect, and the prompt is to read a book with a morally gray main character. This prompt is going to be tripled up for Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. As I mentioned before, this book is basically about how humans can be both good and evil, so I really think it fits this prompt perfectly. If you need some more recommendations for this prompt, I would recommend Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was one of my favorite books of last year. It is so good. Would really recommend you pick up the audio. This is a book in an interview style. It's like reads like a biopic of this fictional band, and it is so good, and a lot of the characters are morally gray. There's like cheating and drug use and that kind of stuff involved, so I definitely think this book would count, and I think it is so good, and it'd also be good for a readathon if you got that on audio. I also want to recommend The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. All of the characters in this book are a little bit morally gray. You kind of love to hate all of them. The main love interest, Carden, is really mean at first, basically torments our main character Jude, and Jude is also kind of morally gray as she's very much selfish and out to live for herself no matter the consequences or who she steps on, and so I think this would be a good one for that as well. And another one that would work well for this prompt is Sadie by Courtney Summers. Sadie follows this girl whose sister was murdered, and she sets out to murder her sister's murderer. So as you can see, a little bit of morally gray area going on there. This is also a very good audiobook, and it is pretty short and snappy and would be good for a readathon. The next song is Best of Both Worlds, read a book with a dual perspective or multiple perspectives. For this one, I'm going to count One by One by Ruth Ware. When I was flicking through this book, it looked like it was from 2 different perspectives. The chapter headers have 2 different names, Liz and Aaron, so hopefully those are the only 2 perspectives. I think this will work, and so this is the book I'm going to be reading for that. If you need some other recommendations, Sadie by Courtney Summers actually also works for this prompt. It is written in dual perspectives, one from Sadie's perspective and another from the perspective of a podcaster who is following the case about Sadie's sister and also kind of trying to track down Sadie because Sadie has also disappeared. Another one that I would recommend is The Lost and Found by Katrina Leno. Katrina Leno is one of my favorite authors. I love her work, and this is a dual perspective story following these 2 different characters just know each other online. I don't even really know how to explain this one, but it's magical realism, friendship, losing things and finding them. It's beautifully written. I loved it so much, and it's also short and quick, so it'd be good for a readathon as well. And then another good dual perspective is The Music of What Happens by Bill Konigsberg. This follows our 2 main characters who are high school aged boys, and in the summer they are working together on this food truck and they fall in love. It's really cute. It alternates perspectives between each character, and if you're looking for a good queer book, this is an excellent and underrated one. I feel like The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett would also be good for this prompt. This is following 2 sisters. One is white passing and one is not. She still lives in her hometown, and this is kind of very Hannah Montana-esque because the sister who is white passing is kind of living a double life. I feel like this is very accurate to this prompt. Next, she's got nerve, and the prompt is to read a thriller, suspense, or horror book. And for this one, I'm going to count One by One by Ruth Ware. Again, this is obviously a thriller, so this is what I'm reading for this prompt. As far as recommendations go, the best thriller I have read recently is Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. That shit is amazing. I don't know if it's the best for a readathon because it's a little long, but honestly, when I was reading it, I could not stop reading it. It felt so quick to get through because I did not want to stop reading, so it might work. It was so good though, you have to read it. If you want some shorter reads, I would also recommend The Whisper Man by Alex North. This was a 5-star thriller for me. It's creepy, multiple perspectives. There's like some haunting stuff going on, but there's also like a child abductor. Like the best of all things in this. The best of both worlds. Another of my favorite thrillers of the year was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This was so good. This would also kind of be good for a readathon because it's in like multimedia, so it's quick to get through. But this follows this high school girl who decides she wants to reinvestigate this murder that happened in her town because she does not think the right person was accused. Really good. Would very much recommend the audiobook of this one as well. Next, He Could Be the One. Read a book featuring romance. This does not have to be a direct romance book. It could be like a fantasy that has a romance in it. If a thriller has a romance in it, it could be that. It can be whatever you interpret it as. No hard and fast rules. But for me, I am going to be counting Girl, Serpent, Thorne for this one. As I mentioned, there is a female-female romance, at least in the background of this one, so that is enough for me, and I'm going to count this one. If you need some other recommendations, I think Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno would be a great one. This is a very short magical realism book with a female-female romance in it. If you like whimsical, beautiful writing, magical elements that feel real, definitely would recommend this one. If you're looking for a good male-male romance, I just read Top Secret by Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen. This is more of like a classic kind of romance. It's got some smut in it, and it's like an enemies to lovers style book. Very good, very fun, very fast read. I also want to recommend The Wicker King by Angkram. This isn't heavy on the romance at all. This is more about mental health, but this is the perfect readathon book because it's multimedia. There's very little text on every page. There's some images and stuff too, so this is a great readathon book, but it does have a male-male romance in it towards the end. Sorry I didn't recommend any straight romance books in this because whoops, but and last, but certainly not least, I Want to Know You, or read a book that you haven't heard a lot of people talking about. And for this one, I'm also going to count Girl, Serpent, Thorne. A couple people I know have read this, but not very many. I really don't hear it talked about. I really don't see it on Bookstagram, so I think this one counts very well for this challenge. Other books I considered for this challenge are The Great Believers by Rebecca Makkai. This is a historical fiction, AIDS crisis, cults. What more do I have to say? This sounds so interesting, and also like it would be heartbreaking. Also, The Death of Vivek Oji. This book is so beautiful, and I know a lot of people got it for their book of the month, but I really haven't seen any reviews, and I'm very interested in this one. I think it deals with gender identity, and I also think it is heartbreaking, so I really am very interested in this one. Also, Transcendent Kingdom by Jessie. This book is so freaking beautiful. Elena convinced me to read this one, but she's the only person I've heard talk about this, and so I am very interested in this one as well. This deals with religion and science and how to justify believing in those two things at the same time and what that looks like for our particular main character. It sounds really good, and honestly, like, it might go over my head, but I'm very much interested in this one and haven't heard a lot of people talking about it. So that is going to be it for my TBR and recommendations. If you need more recommendations, there is a Google Doc in the link down below that has recommendations from all the hosts, and it also should be editable, so if you want to add your own recommendations to each prompt, we would really appreciate that. The more books, the merrier, so definitely check that out in the description down below if you need some inspiration. Also, in that Google Doc is a section where you can link any videos or content you create for this readathon. Definitely, if you post a picture on Instagram, make a YouTube video, make a TBR, make a vlog, anything, leave that link on that Google Doc so we can watch it. We would love to see it, so definitely get involved. It's gonna be so much fun. Join the Discord, chat with us, let us know what you're reading, share with your friends, get them involved as well. This is going to be so much fun, and I hope you guys are as excited as I am. I cannot wait for the first week in November, and I hope you can either. I hope you join in with us, and that is going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.